like you're ready. Actually, probably older.
Good afternoon and welcome.
So I have to chastise myself.
My name is Guy Lemunion. Most of you I know or I've met. And along with Ro, we are the co-hosts for this retirement event. So going around also is a guest book, and I would like everybody to sign the guest book. We want to send Enid with some remembrances. So I'm going to call up first Dr. Stetina to say a few words.
So he said I was going to say a few words, so I'll say a few words.
All right. Following the instructions to the T.
I did. So I'm Enid's boss, but I remember when I started at NAU, I think after I met the med surg team, that Enid was pretty much the first one that popped in my office and sat down and chatted with me about the med surg 2 and the psych clinical and how they needed this and this and this. And I kind of remember having a kind of hilarious conversation with her. But I remember she was one of the very first people that made me feel right. So, and I appreciate both Ro and Enid, and I love them dearly. I do have a little love note from Laura Blank. She did it. She had to do it. So Laura Blank is one of, she lives in Lake Havasu, and I'll just read what she said. Enid was the reason I became full-time at NAU. I had been working as an adjunct faculty in the spring of 2006, and she encouraged me to apply. Enid is one of my aunties, and Ro is the other. The very first time I taught the Nursing 350 clinical, a student earned a failing grade and appealed. The mother, an RN, and the father, a physician,
Oh my goodness.
were at her hearing. I was scared to death, but Ro and Enid were right there. The first several years I worked for NAU were all together nursing 350 family case management. It wasn't for Enid's lack of technical skills and her thinking that I had them, I would have never learned all there was to ever know about Dreamweaver, HTML, and our old learning management system.
I'm a very good delegator.
You are. Under Enid's wings, she pushed me to learn the words of academia, although I still question the term pedagogy for adult learners. As a course developer, although I later learned you couldn't just change the course objectives to fit your needs, and as a presenter at my first Nurse Educators Conference. Honestly, if it wasn't for Enid and Ro, I wouldn't have been promoted to Associate Clinical Professor as soon as I was eligible. Enid, you've given so much to the School of Nursing. Look at how many of your students have returned as faculty.
Next, Dr. Rossi. You're the lady of the hour.
My funny
I didn't say
humor
that.
stuff. Tell a story on Pam. The reason. Hey, wait a minute. Ro and I were attending a conference that we went to a session having to do with clickers. When people respond, the whole group can click that response to whatever question's going on. And the person we sat next to was Pam. At that point, we were the ones, I remember this, and she said, you're thinking of changing my job, and we were recruiting you for NAU at this time for nursing. And so that's, we consider ourselves maybe influential over you here, so thank you. Another story on Pam and me, you never know what I'm going to say, but this is informal, so I can do it, is one time we were at a meeting and Pam was getting, both of us were getting kind of antsy. Was going, we had some of those, as some of you know, our college meetings used to kind of go on forever when everybody tells what all their accomplishments are. And we were getting antsy, and Pam runs over to me and says, would you run amok with me? I didn't know what she meant. I said, sure. And we both ran around the building just to get all that energy. Do you remember that? Yes. Yes. It doesn't sound as though I was helpful by the time we finished running the clock. I didn't know what I was saying. So, what I want to share with people here, staff, colleagues, friends, you know, NAU has been a wonderful, wonderful career. And I bless my experience with here. And you know when you get ready to retire, I've been sharing this with people, is when you finish teaching a class, say, wow, that really went good. I don't need to do that again. And that's what it was like for me when I realized it was time to retire. In each of my 3 classes, I've had an excellent time. I've really enjoyed the students, and it was time to move on to something else. There's 2 student experiences that I've had for, that not student experience, but 2 experiences I had with students that have always stayed with me in different classes. And one was with that family case management class. And one of them, both of them were with that family case management class. The first one is, I was teaching students that we stretch them as far as, you can learn a certain amount by yourself, but the teacher stretches beyond what they can learn, but enough so that it doesn't traumatize them. You know, so I said, let me know if I'm stretching you too much. So one student came to me and she took me up my word, and she says, I have had a really hard day, hard week, it's a lot of stuff going on. And so I have 2 questions, she said. Now Enid, I just want you to answer those 2 questions. Don't go here, don't go here, don't go here. Just answer the questions. Okay. And I did. And that kind of shows that student empowerment, we have to pay attention to what we teach our students. The other one was probably my most profound experience as an example of what a student shared. And this was again with the family course, and it's a very complex learning the way we were teaching it. And it's not linear, and it's all this multifactorial thing. I usually say at the beginning of class, you know, what I teach is not this way, it's this way. And they go, so I was working with them on really working with a very complex family situation, pulling in all the aspects and the root causes and everything. And she couldn't figure it out. I says, just continue. I says, just keep walking through, you're gonna get there. Just keep going, you're gonna get there. And finally toward the end she said, I really, all of a sudden I looked at her and I says, you have it. It's all pulled together. And she burst out in tears. And I said, well, where are these tears coming from? She says, I felt like I was in this dark tunnel. And I was walking, and you kept saying, keep going, you're going to get there. And all I could see was dark tunnel. And I kept walking and walking. And when you said I finally made it, this light came over me and just spread all over me. And I thought, my God, look what an honor we have as being teachers. And this is what we do. And as the nurses, too. This kind of thing. So, thank you for walking this journey with me, and we'll continue walking together. So.
Okay, not quite done. We have some gratitude just for you.
This one we gotta hold, because that's part of my story.
You're next.
So you gotta wait on that. Okay.
Two faces.
Bro has seniority.
Well, I asked students, what should I say about Enid? What did they think of Enid when they had her in class? So I got pretty much 4 stories from them. The first one is, what color are you today? Because she always wants to know what their aura is and how they're feeling. So they said, you know, she would come into class and say, what color are you today? And we're thinking, isn't this the psych class? So that was story number 1. Story number 2, she already told you, was asking it a question and the answer is either, it depends, or at half an hour later you're still thinking, I forgot what my question was.
Yeah.
That's true.
The third was, she never sits still. She's dancing around the room, and we can't follow where she's going. And the last is, and this is why this gift for you, that we learned more from Enid when she didn't talk about nursing, but when she told us stories that had the applicability of what we were learning. So it was never about content, which y'all know I hate, but it was never about the stuff. It was about, what do I do with this knowledge that I have? And that I already know how to think about it, but Enid is pushing me to think even bigger and harder. And that's what we appreciated most about Enid. So that's from your students.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, no, the stories are from the students. That's from all of us here. So you need to open that now before Kai does his thing.
Well, I have to tell one story on myself. Again, I was teaching in the summer. This relates to some of the things Rose was saying. I was teaching in the summer, and I made the mistake of doing a 7:30 in the morning class. I thought, wow, if I do 7:30, I just have a short thing, and then I can play all summer. Well, it didn't work that way. So young adults, they don't have energy in the summer. They don't wake up. So I go to the classroom, ready and eager like I am, and they're so it's everybody stand up. This is what Frank remembers about me as a student. Everybody stand up. I says, okay, we're gonna do the hokey pokey. We put your
Yeah.
right foot in. I made them all stand up and do the hokey pokey to wake up. So they woke up and then we continued the class. So
Get the energy going.
yeah.
Know when you're getting.
You don't.
Enid. There is a card in there too.
So we start first.
You can, absolutely.
Can we move the
Oops,
bag?
she's filming.
Gotta get all those, fun things. One of those cards, huh?
Ray,
Oh, my goodness.
can she borrow your glasses?
Yeah.
Relax, enjoy the ride, try something new, imagine the possibilities, remind yourself to play. I don't have trouble with that one. Expect adventures, make new plans, entertain a few wild ideas. Would I do that? And nap without guilt, I do that now, no problem. And take time just for yourself. Congratulations on your retirement. For all you've done, all you've accomplished, you've achieved, we wishing you the time of your life and lots of confidence.
And on the back too.
Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna read them all. I wanna add one other thing, I keep being noisy and adding. The staff here are what makes it all happen. And you all are the ones that pull us all together and make us happy to come to work, so thank you so much. You're the structure that makes all this happen. And keep me going too. When I wasn't feeling well with Ray having all his surgeries, I was heap sobbing to all the staff members. And they just passed me to the next one, the next one. So thank you very much.
We're ready to cut it, so it should be just a little shape, so it'll make it easier to open.
That paper's pretty on both sides.
Yeah. You should be able to just stick it in. No, that part's open, it's just under here. Stick it under here. And then you'll have to close the office. My son's
Lots of peanuts.
Some from.
Be careful,
I have to be careful.
yeah. Yeah, again, I just tried to put one piece of Scotch tape on it so that
Thank you.
it would be easier to open.
Oh, very nice.
A storyteller.
That is so perfect.
That's like you, you're the storyteller.
It was hard to find one that was Navajo too. Most of them are Hopi.
Oh, look at this.
And the coaches actually started that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
it's from everybody.
Very nice.
My mouth is open too, so.
You're telling all your wonderful stories.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Guy, you're on.
No, she should open the rest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, while you're there.
Now, oh. You may. I have to pass this one around. Sharon makes cards and she makes them to fit the person, so.
Oh, wow. How do you do
Isn't that something? She's an artist. That's what you'll do when you, in 4 years, you know, in a year, when you're away from your baby grandchild, you can make cards and let us know about them, we'll buy them from you.
You bet.
I'd love to do that. That could be your, and we can tell you about the person.
Yeah, paper Blue Cross Blue Shield.
You can sell them on Etsy.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Sharon, when Ro and I you know, were involved in doing the family course and finished it up, Sharon took it over. So,
I took it to Sally, took it.
and then
Yeah.
Sally, you
Yeah.
first and then Sally, right?
Sally first.
First and then Sharon.
Okay.
I started, I started with the
Yeah.
clinical.
You
and
did the
had
clinical,
theory.
Sally did the theory, yeah.
And then I had
year
the
or
theory
two.
the next year.
Oh, you made this.
Actually, Sharon Manuelito made it.
Did
But
you?
when I saw your purse, I had gotten it from Sharon, and when I saw your purse, I told you it matched your purse, so.
That's beautiful.
Oh, that is.
Oh, that'll be good all winter long.
Yes.
There you go.
So I told you, you know, you got it from her.
It looks like the card.
It does.
That's
Now,
why I
that's
did
the
the
same
card.
with you, you could make an extra, if the two of you could get together, cottage industry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doesn't it match your purse? It does.
Thank you, sweetie.
And there's one more, just.
Oh.
With a little Easter bunny in it.
I'm not gonna be the ever ready.
And that's kind of why I picked that particular one, because I like the It'd be great to reuse it.
Retirement, do what you want, when you want, if you want. Enjoy newfound freedom. Let's do altitudes again, and other things. We can, okay, we gotta get you loosened up a little bit, and we can do it.
We're working on it. I'm shedding things every year.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the
what
open
you
it.
just read.
Okay, wonderful.
I think you're up.
You guys are a good team.
So, before I retired from the VA, I was already trying to get hired part-time adjunct whatever I could get here at NAU, because I knew was one of the things that I wanted to do. Throughout my working career, 19 years in the VA and some other places, I'd always done some part-time teaching at various places, and I knew the next place that I wanted to be was NAU. So when I got hired and started teaching in the psych, eventually I ended up with Enid, who became my mentor. I could come from the older school of teaching, and Enid said, "You don't understand these students we have. They are millennials." I said, "I know that." She said, "No, we don't do it that way anymore." And Enid made me recommendations for books and study guides, how to work with millennials. Enid, I read every one of them. And so that helped me tremendously.
You also attended a bunch of workshops.
Yeah, I went to the classes too. So, throughout my career, I've had various mentors. I've been doing nursing so long, we didn't even have a word for it. An older or more experienced nurse helped you out. We didn't even use the word mentor. And then a new word came along, mentee. That's a receiver of a mentorship. So I've had a lot of mentors, and Enid, you've helped me tremendously. And Enid called me to her office after she was no longer going to teach the psych class, and gave me kind of my final instructions. So thank you for that. And I thanked Enid at that time, and I want to thank you again. Now, I'm a psych guy. And one of the newest things that I like is the field of positive psychology. The old field of psychology was, you're going to tell me about your thoughts and feelings, all the things that happened to you as a child, over and over again. We both felt miserable. And I don't think it helped very much. So the new field of positive psychology, now it's a evidence-based practice, so nurses like that, right? So this is an evidence-based practice. I want to talk a minute how this falls in with mentorship. So the 3 techniques in positive psychology, I read all those books too, are one, is called 3 blessings. Now churches teach this also. So this says at the end of the day, count your blessings. So make a list of 3 things that were a blessing to you that day. And the second one is gratitude writing. In other places, this is called journaling. I've never been a fan of journaling too much. I tried it because it was recommended. But if I went back to the previous day, that person was gone because I'd already evolved the next day. Cat Stevens said, "We're changing day to day." So where do the children play? I guess right here. So that's fun. And the third one is called meeting with a mentor. And that's where I was going with this. So all of these 3 things, if they're done, improve depression for up to 30 days with just a single application. So, but why not make it a lifetime approach? Many of my mentors have gone on. When I found out about this, I was unable to. So, but I've done it, in spirit. So, what I'm going to ask you all now is to give yourself a blessing by telling Enid what she has meant to you. Oh, before I go on, I forgot a really important part. So, I said, I've had, actually, the staff said, "Where's Enid?" Because, you didn't teach at the guidance center this semester. I said, "Enid's retiring." And they said, "Oh," and the staff there, including Lorraine, said how much your mentorship had meant to them. The number of staff there that you've helped, that you've instructed, and that you've mentored, I do not think you even know the depths. So you have impacted the lives of how many years? How many years have you been teaching?
33.
Oh, 33 years. So that's a lot of young and middle-aged nurses out there, hopefully they'll remember.
Some of them are older now too.
So, but before we close, give yourself a blessing. I'll pass the microphone around to make it a little more intimidating. Second person, we'll start with Lori.
We'll start with Lorraine.
Here, no, you can sit. You can sit.
Okay. I'll
We
sit.
just pass it. Yeah. Group therapy, you know.
Oh, let's
I had a
see.
plan.
So, I am, at the Guidance Center, I'm one of several nurses that Enid taught. We graduated, went to work, and then she shows up on the psych unit. I became adjunct faculty, I want to say in like 2012 or 2013, had a kind of a family medical emergency and stopped for a little while. And about the time I was ready to maybe do something else again, she comes in my office and sits down and says, okay, it's time, we need you again. And I'm like, well, how did you know that I was ready to go back and do that teaching? And then, but Guy and I also, I treasure them both, by the way. But Guy comes in and he says, well, you know, I'm a little more black and white, and Enid's kind of all over the place. And I said, yeah, and I'm somewhere in the middle. So I think we've got it covered. But I just treasure the time that Enid mentored me as an instructor. I remember her teaching, I want to say it was case management, nurse case management class that I had when I went from NAU, because I graduated in 1997. So I had Enid as an instructor. And I remember that class and thinking, I want to be out there with all of the people and interacting with them as a nurse, because I didn't want to do hospital nursing. And I found my sort of niche in psych. So I graduated in 97, went to the Guidance Center, and I had been there ever since for 21 years. So your mentorship has helped me do that. Thank you. And it's given me so much more being able to teach at NAU and help the students learn about psych. And take what I've recently said, and I won't take too much time, I'm sorry, is taking this big bunch of data about this person, this one individual, and taking all the information that we have about that person, narrowing it down to, okay, what can I do for that person as a nurse in this moment for them? And that's what she's taught me how to teach the students to do. Thank you, Enid.
Guy, some of our staff have to get back over to the office.
Okay.
Do I have to talk into this?
I don't know if it's on or not.
It says it's on.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to thank Enid for mentoring me also with the advising of the students coming into the baccalaureate program. You helped me out a lot. Thank you.
You can just talk, don't worry about it.
Yeah, the room's small enough.
Yeah.
I'm using that for a talking stick. You know that tradition?
Talking stick.
Yeah. Talking microphone.
I have been, this is my 10th year at NAU. Back in 2009, when I arrived here on Saturday, and faculty back week started Monday. And it was pretty overwhelming. I was jumping into 3 new courses, and one of them was the family course, clinical, and Enid was the one that passed it off to me. And through the years, we've never really taught together, or even been on committees together, but she often has popped into my office, or we've talked in the hallways, and always an encourager. And I've appreciated that. Thank you. You helped calm my panic that first week, especially when I first came.
Well, you did it. It's a very hard course to take over at the last minute, so she did a dynamite job.
And oh, where to begin with the Enid memories?
We've been around too long.
I guess the ones to share with the group. would include, Enid was a year or two ahead of me in the doctoral program and encouraged me to go to NAU to get my doctorate in education, as opposed to U of A or ASU to get a PhD in nursing. And I've never, ever, ever for a moment regretted that decision. It was wisdom that she shared with me as a pretty novice faculty once upon a time. And I think that experience has helped us both grow and to continue growing and mentoring one another in different ways with our different strengths and going forward. But I also have very fond memories with you and Ray both, and going out to the ceremonies on Navajo.
Right.
And being part of that, and Ray's music, and just the different things over the years, the friendship over the years, as well as the knowledge of it all. So thank you very much for all of those many gifts. So that's probably more than 3, isn't it? Who's next?
That's talking.
Well, I've certainly had the good fortune of knowing Enid as Ray's wife, and Ray taught guitar to our son, and so I got to know her on the sidelines, and especially after working at the Guidance Center. When you came on board and were doing the clinicals and showing the students around and talking with them, I saw a big part of you that I didn't always get to see. And that just, you have so much pep in your step, and you always greet people with a smile that you forget sometimes you're not smiling. And I thought about that when I would see clients and they're coming in, being checked out, and to see that when you smile, it just puts them at ease. So I really appreciate that in you, and just your friendship overall. And the fact that she can really dance. I've seen her dance to Ray's music, and she's just wonderful. And you're just a wonderful friend and a person, and you've given me a lot to live by and live with your peace and your happiness and that pep in your step. Thank you.
Okay, we'll end with Ray.
Okay.
Well, I have something to say. So do I.
Oh. Raise the anchor man, go.
Ro and I both have something to say.
Go ahead.
First, Pam?
Sure.
First.
Since everybody's been talking about her being a mentor, but I'm going to talk about something else. I appreciate running amok. And I appreciate having somebody that, first of all, I am honored that you trusted me with confidential information, and I'm very honored by that. But I'm more honored by having somebody to be silly with. So, because I can be silly sometimes, not usually. Only after 3. Thank you.
Well, I'm like Sally. It's kind of hard to know where to begin. In terms of teaching, Enid and I have similar styles. So it's often, sometimes it feels like the two of us against the rest of the faculty. Not against, but our styles are just very, very in contrast. Thank you. We just have a very different philosophy. And it was nice coming from, as Sharon said, coming from New Jersey and not knowing anybody and not having a background in education. It was really nice to have Enid there saying, well, I don't know, but go ahead and try it. And then coming back and telling her, hey, that worked. So it was nice to have that kind of peer relationship. That was really important to me. But I think more important to me was how you became my sister and Ray my brother. I had no family out here until my Navajo family, but you and Ray have been my rocks. You've been through so many rough times with me, And I know no matter what happens, I can always count on the two of you. Sometimes I feel like Frodo and you're my Sams. And often when I'm not grounded, you help me ground. And you help keep me going when sometimes I don't want to keep going. And I don't know how to say thank you enough for that. That's it.
Anybody else? Take us home, Ray.
Well, I know we Enid in a whole different capacity.
I hope so.
So I'm not gonna focus on nursing because that's indirect for me. But we met somewhere in elementary school. We didn't really know each other, we just knew of each other. We went through elementary, the last year of elementary school and junior high school together. And we met formally in a church group, and that's how we became acquainted and became intimate, and finally made a decision to get married. Anyways, Enid has been the greatest blessing of my life. She's the type of person who's always there. Doesn't matter how bad the trauma gets, how hard the challenges get, she's always there. And part of that blessing, the really important parts, are the blessings she shares with me through you. Because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be together here. We have different, we bounce off of each other different ways. I met Nawaleen and Jim before Enid knew who they were. Their son Nathan was one of my guitar students, and he was a one trial learner. I would show him something, and he would repeat what I did. He was on stage with me after 3 months of lessons, and I've never had any other student that was able to pull that off. He was so dedicated. And then Nawaleen and Enid found out they shared an interest through nursing, through counseling, and that relationship blossomed into a whole different arena. With Sally and Ron, gosh. I think of Ron. Ron, Guy, and our veterans from the same era. Ron was a Navy corpsman. It was those guys that saved their lives. And yeah, so the appreciation spreads, and you realize every day when you reflect on who you know, who you've met, and you realize those people are blessings. And it's been through Enid that these blessings have occurred. With Ro, you know, we've shared so many ups and downs, sideways and backwards, and you name it. But the fun part is all the dinners we get to go to. We love going down to Orchard on our birthdays and stuff, and we party down there and have a good time. And the conversations we have, they start out in one place, and they just take off and go astronomical. And that is a blessing, because there's no holds barred. There's no expectations. And this is the way I like to live. This is what my music is about. That's why I do. That's why I perform. For me, performing is a tribute to blues people I met as a young kid in Chicago. The Mississippi Delta came to me, and that's been a blessing throughout my life. And it was because of Enid when I had a heart attack and stroke. Doctors were telling me, how much stress can you take away from your life? Could you quit your job? Could you do this? Okay, well, I go home and I'm telling Enid what the doctors say. They want to know if I could reduce the stress in my life, whatever is causing the stress. So Enid just never hesitated. She said, you know, all your life, you've put music on the back burner for some other priority. Now, why don't you just get rid of all the stress and go 100% into the music? And that's been the greatest grace, you know, I received from Enid. So she goes beyond nursing for me into areas and zones that words can't describe the result of the feelings, you know, I get just by being in her proximity. So I get to hear her talk to Ro. I get to hear her talk to whoever's on the phone. I get to go to, you know, a lot of these nursing types of things, and, you know, things, and get to meet, you know, all you wonderful people, you know, and sometimes we just take off and go on conversations that, you know, could be unlimited, and that's the part I just really love, you know, and I really appreciate Sally and Ron, because they're at my performances almost all the time, you know, and I go,
We're your groupies.
oh my gosh. Well, there's something about a feeling of camaraderie that, you know, if certain people are around you, you could just soar, and there's no sky's the limit, you know. It's just and that's what, you know, as a musician, that's what we strive for. We try to find a groove. We want to get into that groove. And like what Bonnie Raitt said about Stevie Ray Vaughan, she said one time, she said, you know, that guy comes out on stage, and most people, it takes 3 or 4 songs to get warmed up. He comes out already warmed up, and he just, you know, nails it from the get-go. B.B. King said one time of Stevie Ray, you know, he says, when I play, I got to play something, and then I got to stop and think about what I'm going to do next. But with Stevie Ray, he starts in one place and never lets go. He's a stream of consciousness. That's the way I like to think of all of you. You're a stream of consciousness in a scene. And so, thank you very much for being a part of Enid's, you know, development and growth. And it's all about sharing. And so, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
everybody. Up. So, Enid, on behalf of the nursing department, on behalf of the university, and on behalf of the lives that you've touched in 30, I don't remember how many years of nursing,
33.
thank you. Postscript.
Enid and I are actually the comic relief during faculty meetings. Because we start to argue over nonsense and sound like 2 12-year-old sisters.
I can attest to that.
Yes.
But we
Do you have
usually
anything you
need
want
the comic relief at the point that you are doing that, just saying.
Well, I don't have no prepared remarks, so I sort of speak from my heart, because I've known Enid for as long as I've been here.
We came the same year.
Well, you maybe came in August of '95, and I came in January of '96. So we've seen a lot of things happen, and a lot of changes, and a lot of growth and development in the School of Nursing, and Enid has always been a very passionate voice for the nursing program and for maintaining the quality and high standards for the nursing program. And unlike me, who tends to sort of just get in my little niche and stay in that niche, Enid sort of moved around from public health to psych to rural health and it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience working with you. You and Ro both. I'm sorry, I missed Ro's party last week. I
We
sort of
missed you.
Screwed up on that one, but I was with dear friends in California, and, but I appreciate that you guys have made it longer than me at NAU, even though I haven't totally left NAU, but it's been a wonderful journey working with both of you, and I wish you all the best in retirement. I hope that you feel like about retirement like I do. I call it the incredible lightness of being, because I can do the things that I have a passion for doing. It doesn't mean I'm not working, I'm not involved in my nursing profession. I am very much, and you know, you guys haven't gotten rid of me totally here. But anyway, I hope that you just have lots of great events and experiences in retirement, whether they're nursing or something else you decide to take up for both of you. And I know some of the things that Ro is going to, well, continue to do her endeavors, so. Anyway, and maybe we'll visit you in Nova Scotia?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, we've been here the longest time together.
Yeah, we have.
What I enjoyed when she was ready to retire, it was toward the last year, and I noticed Ro and I doing the same thing. You know, she'd go, something would happen with the school of nursing, they were changing a policy or something, or the college, and Karen would go over and say, I'm glad I'm not gonna be here for that one.
True.
Ro and I are saying the same thing. Remember?
That's right.
And I said to Ro, we're sounding like Karen.
Yeah. She does.
God forbid.
It doesn't mean it's not important, you just done your turn, you pass it on to the next time.
That's right.
It doesn't mean you just done your turn, that's what it means.
And as Karen, the same as Karen, we're both saying, we don't have to do evaluations anymore.
That's right.
Ro keeps going, no more fall,
And
no more fall.
soon Sally shall follow, because Sally and Enid and Ro and I really all sort of started within a year and a half of each other. Sort of,
Yeah.
I think you started in 97, August of 97.
And on August 98.
Okay. So
August 95.
Yeah, so we're sort of over 3 years.
August 2009.
It sort of feels like the old faculty's club here, right?
Yep.
And one thing a lot of people don't know, Enid had